You're now emotional about it. I mean, look, you can either turn around and walk away or let it the fuck out.
Was that Lord Venom from yesterday?
Yeah, yeah.
Ah,
That one was him. Yeah. So look, like I said, unsubscribe, do your thing. This is not to be compromised. That's why we're here in the fucking first place. Is people compromising shit. You think that feminism wasn't a compromise? And I don't want to go down too many other path holes with that, but for instance, right, there was all this compromise. And look at what a slippery fucking slope that turns into.
damn straight.
Oh, now we're aborting what millions of babies a year. I mean, for instance. So here's what I'm going to tell you before we get into this, and I want to hear from you. But I'm going to put this out here. Andrew Wilson, you are a baby killer supporter. And I'm going to show you why. I know that's a very bold statement. I'm sure if he hears this, he'll be all sorts of fuck this dude, block this dude, whatever. But hear me out. Fresh and Fit support that activity in various different ways. Now, they don't explicitly say kill babies, but we talked about this explicitly last night. If you're racking up 50 bodies to get married, right? That's the right way to get married. If you rack up 50 bodies. If you're doing that, you're telling me, and every man is doing that, that's the goal. You're telling me now that you're not supporting abortion, that's going to cause it even more. I don't know how much that would increase it, but I got to think quite a bit. Now, birth control, another mechanism, that's not killing babies per se, but it is killing the woman, I would say. That shit is very bad for you, right? It's bad for you women. You should not do it. Mentally, physically, etc. I'm not a doctor, but I'm fucking right. So, what are your thoughts, Leroy? I've been monologuing here. What are you thinking?
I don't think not pushing back too hard is necessarily promoting it, but I want to see how you've come to this conclusion.
Fair enough. All right. You got anything else? Or are you ready to jump right in?
No, let's go to fucking war, man.
That's what I'm about. Let's do it.
Style message.
So I don't know exactly where this is picking up, but this is around. Actually, I think we're right around the hour mark. So we'll see if we already saw this.
That's what they do to creators, right? They don't like what you say, they starve you of money, and that shuts you up. And it's the same thing with any organization. It's the same thing within Orthodoxy. It's the same thing within Protestantism. Cut off the money supply until they reform to what they're supposed to be. And it's like the Catholic Church, much harder because the corruption does go up to the top, in my opinion. Okay, but still, the grounding foundation of most Catholics, they're pretty awesome. Most of them are pretty awesome people.
So let's pause right here. I'm going to give you my opinion on this first. So most people who identify as Catholics are not awesome, and I'm going to explain why. The GP, the general population, right? I think of this as people not living in reality, right? You can call it the Matrix, you can call it whatever the fuck you want, delusional, whatever it is. It doesn't have to be feminism, it doesn't have to be red pill, it doesn't have to be blue, but it's all that shit, right? People who don't want to see the truth are living in an alter reality in ways. I would consider them GP. Now, to think that most people who identify as Catholic are fucking cool or whatever he just said is absolute bullshit. I wish it were true. That sounds nice. Sounds utopian. That's not where we are. If we were there, we wouldn't be having this problem. In fact, I'm pretty sure he has cited, I could be wrong on this, but I'm pretty sure he cited that most of America is Catholic identifying, or whatever the wordage is. If that's true, now you're saying that most of them are pretty based? What reality are you living in?
So to push back slightly, did he say identify as Catholic or Catholic? Because there's a massive difference there. Because
I
there's
agree.
men right now that identify as women. That doesn't make them fucking women.
I agree with
the
you.
people that are saying they're Catholic, that doesn't mean that they're fucking Catholic just because they say that.
So I agree with you. So let me say this. The way that he presents it, and it's true, there's some room to, what exactly does he mean, right, for inference.
Yeah.
The way I take it is people who claim to be Catholic. If we're talking about actual Catholics, who the fuck knows who that is? How would I know if he's an actual Catholic or anyone's an actual Catholic? Right? So I think of it as someone who would answer If they were asked, "Are you a Catholic?" Yes, I am.
Because of Andrew's faith, I wouldn't have taken it the same way. Because I would say if he wouldn't see someone who just says, I am Catholic, he wouldn't be like, well, oh, okay, you're fucking Catholic then. I would say, like we always say, he would take it with a grain of salt and watch the actions rather than just their words. So
Yeah.
what I take when he's saying this is he means actual fucking Catholics, not people that just spout and say they are Catholic.
Well, okay, so then I'll hit the other angle then. People who are actually, really, truly religious, Catholic to heart, we wouldn't know, but God knows, right?
Yeah.
Then why would I say it's pretty based to be based, man? If they're faith bearing, they're not just like, oh, most of them are pretty good. No, they are good people. If they're actually following it, there's no discrepancy. There's no, well, most of them are pretty good. No, they're all pretty good if that's what we're talking about. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, that's like saying the good is the good.
Right, well, that's my point. So to me, it doesn't really make sense. And look, I'm not trying to pick this apart. I mean, I'm trying to pick the video apart, but that's just a nuance, right?
Yeah.
So, anyways, we'll see.
And it's like, yeah, I don't think it would take too much to begin to push them to say, stop tithing that way until, some of the stuff goes by the wayside.
Who are they going to follow? You or the Pope?
Well, they're going to follow the Pope for the most part, but some of them are so frustrated with what's going on with papal authority, or papal authority, that I don't think it would take much, right? I'm not saying that.
I need to dissect this. So he's also saying that most of them, the them is referring back to the based Catholics that he just mentioned, right? Most of them are pretty good. So he's also saying that they would follow the Pope. That's what they would closely align with. He's also saying that the Pope is corrupted, that he is bad figure, leading things bad ways. So I'm just saying, to me, this sounds a lot more about the narrative than talking about truth or getting into anything of real relevance.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. I need to hear a bit more to really sort of form my own opinion on this.
Fair?
That one man's going to be able to push the whole tide. What I'm saying is that you can begin at least to do your own part to move people towards that. Not saying one guy is going to be able to do it. That's absurd. Though single people have been able to do things like this in the past, I think that everybody moving towards it in their own way.
Look, I'm not saying, I mean, it would be absurd to say that one person can do it, although it's happened in the past. That right there is a contradiction, but okay, we'll let that slide. And now he's saying what?
I'm actually not really too sure because I'm seeing a bit of a discrepancy here.
Trying their hardest in their own way to move towards that.
Yeah.
That's how you see things get done.
I like that. I would just say, though, tell me if you understand this phrase. Right will be wrong, wrong will be right in these times.
Right will be wrong and wrong will be right. Yeah. So, but that's all times.
But even more so now.
Well, more so than when. So if you look at history,
They are literally talking in fucking riddles, and maybe we'll put that more on Fresh because that's about his language capacity is riddle. Look, what happened when the red pill content creators and the blue pill content creators came together? They formed the purple pill, which is just as gay as both of them. It's just as fucking gay. It's just like, oh, we'll meet in the middle, right? There's some of this blue pitch, it's good. Some of that red pill. So again, I'm looking at the big picture and I get it. The pushback is, no, you don't understand. Andrew just wants more visibility. He's using it to promote his message, right? But he's also compromising what his apparent values that he's promoted on his stream so many fucking times. And it's turned into, well, we can understand each other's points. Is not, as long as you're not from the progressive left, which I don't even know what the fuck that means. I mean, I think I know what he thinks it means, but as long as you're not progressive left, then, we can compromise. I think that's fucking bullshit. It doesn't sound like man shit to me. It does not.
Yeah, I've seen him take a lot harder stances before, and this is one of those times where I wish he had taken a harder stance.
I agree.
Yeah, I don't. I think if it was anyone else, I don't think he would be taking this lighthearted stance on this. I think he would be a lot more balls to the wall.
Right.
Which is why I really respect him, man. Because he says whatever the fuck he wants, and he doesn't really care the consequences. But this time, it seems like he's tiptoeing slightly.
Slightly. All right. We'll see. Let's see.
I'm trying to be kind.
I know that you are, and I don't blame you. By the way,
I'm going to play a bit of devil's advocate here as best as I can.
That's perfectly fine. I think all things at times could use pushback, right? Yeah. So, regardless of what you say at the end of the video, I'm not like, oh fuck Leroy. We talk about it.
Yeah,
I mean
exactly.
that's it. And if we're both truly in search of truth and doing the right thing for the right reasons, then I think we have a pretty good understanding by the end of whatever it is anyways.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, if we're going to get into theology, right? Everything that is to come to pass has already come to pass.
Yes.
Right? Could be way worse in 100 years, and it may have been way worse 200 years ago, right? Ultimately, I'm not going to look at it, though, and say, hey, we're in the end times right this second, so I'm just going to throw in the towel and throw my hat on the couch and I'm done. No, I'm going to still act within the ethical purview of which I've been given, and I'm going to, if Jesus comes tomorrow, right, and it was all for nothing, then it was all for something. So that's the
Look, I'm not Jesus, you're not Jesus. I don't think you are. You Jesus, Leroy? So
not last time I checked.
I think, from what I understand, Jesus, the type of God, I don't want to frame this. He the type of person that he would have been happy to lose his social media account for the right reason. Now, I'm not saying that would be a good idea. I'm certainly not saying that Andrew should do it. I'm not saying anyone should do it. But my point is, it would be principled, whatever he's standing on. We're not negotiating with the devil. We may find a better approach or angle or whatever, but I see this as more of negotiating with the devil than I do of, well, you know, let's kind of tiptoe and slide around and suck each other off just a little bit, just a tip, you know, just enough to get each other excited, because I'm going to be able to share in their followers, and maybe I'll convert some of them. Well, if we're looking at good and bad, what's right and what's degenerate, then I don't see how all the things that we've talked about with Fresh and Fit, right? The different reviews, what they say, what they do, how they fucking act, is a good example for men, period. I mean, you could end the sentence right there. Now, we can get into nuance, which we often do, right? Because I think nuance is important to me, at least, to have more understanding. I like knowing how things work, why they work. So I do dig in a bit. And I like sharing that, idea sharing. Because a lot of the slippery snake oil bullshit out there is hard to detect. The better it is, the harder it is to detect. And this is not about nihilism, like, oh, the world is fucked, give up. Because I do agree with what he's saying, that we should not give up. If we do, don't even go to work tomorrow. Don't bother doing your laundry. Just do it. Like, what's the point? Oh, just so we can get laid in the meantime while the world collapses?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to think of this as much as possible from Andrew's point of view, and maybe by trying to find any common ground, he's allowing them to get a bit more comfortable. Maybe they'll expose more of their own flaws. That's maybe what I'm thinking.
Look, that's fine. And I'm not trying to think of this from Andrew's point of view. I'm trying to think of it just very neutrally. Whether it was Andrew sitting there, me sitting there, Jesus sitting there, fucking Dot sitting there. I'm just trying to think about it neutrally, the interaction that's going on. And granted, I'm not completely neutral. Nobody is. But I do my best to be as neutral, not charitable necessarily, but as neutral as possible. Just call it like I fucking see it. That's it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, fair enough, man. Well, let's keep going.
That's the way I see it.
I like it. Good man.
No, well, I mean, you did say it's a multi-generational thing, which I think, it's gonna take a while. It's just that I think, like, with the way things are now, us being in a secular society, etc. And I know you disagree with me on the 50 body count, which is totally fine. I think that's important for you to be able to have a conversation with people that you disagree with.
Sure.
I think it's I think it's a viable strategy given the environment that we're in now, with the way women are, with the way.
I want to pause here. It's just something coming to mind. So, and look, I did this kind of debate-ish interview with Beaten Cheeks on here a couple weeks ago, right? Mm-hmm. And I wasn't trying to be mean to him. I don't dislike him. I really don't dislike any of the three talking right now. I don't care about them. I don't give a fuck. Whatever they do, they do. I do care about the impact on the world for everything, because I do believe, I know there is a butterfly effect. Whether it affects you a little or a lot, your kids, your grandkids, etc. Things are fucking important. And all that seems to matter these days is outrage and ego. Right? I want to be outraged about some shit that my ego is attached to, rather than simply looking through the lens of what is good, what is right, and what the fuck is wrong. Right? Starting there. Oh, we need to attack feminism. Forget about the core. Forget about why feminism exists and is able to exist today. We want to go back to, in the 1960s, it was started by Margaret Thatcher. I mean, that's not the case, but whatever. And and it's really irrelevant. I don't care who is bandwagoning it. It means nothing. I don't care if it was man or woman in the lead of it. The point is, look at what is. Men enforce it. Andrew has talked about this. It's absolutely true. Without the enforcement of the collective men of society, this bullshit could not be enforced. And let me change that. I do make mistakes. Weak males, right? Weak males who have power. Because power and strength and weakness are not, right? These are perpendicular. Being strong or weak, those are antonyms, right? Those are opposites. But being powerful simply means you have leverage. There's many weak people who have had power over certain situations, dynamics, socially, politically. That doesn't make them strong. And this is something that's conflated all the fucking time. Leverage versus strength. Two very different things. Yes, they can coincide, but they are not mutually exclusive. They never have been, they never will be.
Yeah, fair. More, and let me absorb a bit more, and I'll continue to play a bit of devil's advocate.
Yeah. I mean, look, and I just want to mention, so I slowed this down. I figure we got a lot less left, so let's kind of slow it down. And I'm trying not to interject too much, but I do want to get certain points off as they come to mind, because this is just real thoughts. I didn't pre-watch this. I watched till right here, and I was like, look, we need to get back into this. Like, I need to explore this more. My opinion is not completely made up, but right now it is strong enough that there's going to have to be a fairly significant change in what happens, the dynamic, the actions. Uncle Guns, hard times make strong men. Every other person in that phrase is males. Yes, you are correct. Absolutely. And this is what I've been talking about. This is what we've been talking about.
Yep.
Way the marriage institute is set up in the United States, with the state being involved, etc. And let's be honest, most guys are not going to get married through a religious counterpart that's going to protect them and not incentivize the woman, because most women nowadays are like, if I'm going to get married, I need a marriage certificate. I need all this stuff. I mean, hell, you can't even tell a girl nowadays that you want a prenup without issues.
Look, if we have to pull out for a scenario, right? This is in a microscope, but if said woman who you are looking to marry, and you are picking up that is what she mostly or completely wants out of you, then either or both, she is not the right woman for any man. And or she is not the right woman for you, doesn't respect you, doesn't want the values that we talk about, right? Courage, right? Strength, right? Strength internal, etc. That isn't as important to her as marrying the lifestyle. And look, women are women, but there is a wide variance between what I would refer to as what is a relatively good woman versus a relatively bad woman. If they were all the same, then they would all be 304s. I mean, if that was the case, and we wouldn't even have this fucking show or any show, right? What would be the point?
Yeah, I'll agree there, bro. I'll agree there.
Right? So it's like
women are highly susceptible to propaganda.
Yeah.
If we can put ourselves in positions to be dealing in that propaganda, we can be dealing in the positions to influence women. And I can give you an example.
Target them predominantly.
That's right.
Yeah, 100%.
That was what I was going to say.
Target
if
them.
you can advertise towards women, the alternative message, they'll go for it.
Look at Gillette. Like,
That's how they got them all smoking.
I always use this example, right? So it's like,
Yep.
the example I always use a lot of times just to show like how much they control the marketplace. Gillette did an ad, right, back in like 2018, 2019. This is years ago now, right? They're feeling the consequences of it now. But where they said toxic masculinity, right? And they just shit on men for like a couple minutes, right? Like, men are shitty, blah, 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 whatever. They shit on. But Gillette does that. They have the gall to do that. And they go after they shit on their target audience. But then in my head, it hit me. Oh, why? Because when you're an advertiser, you need to market to women, even at the expense of your target audience.
I love how this is some epiphany shit. Like, he's a fucking genius. Oh, did you know that if you... Bro, going back to, I hate this victim bullshit. This is not man shit. This is victim shit. This is woman shit. Oh, the commercials. If only we could change the commercials. And you're completely neglecting the core that men are promoting those commercials. Weak men of power. Right? I mean, that is what's happening. They're enforcing it. This whole blame on women, bullshit. Absolute bullshit. When we already have gone over, we are the ones with more accountability, with more potential power, and we squander it with weak men, weak society.
So to simplify what you're saying here is you think that they're not identifying the root cause of the issue?
They're getting stuck on surface nuances. If we change the advertising industry, look, it is free market. It's always been free market. To whatever degree free means, right? Whether you want to say, well, government's in charge of it, whatever. The point is, who is ultimately the enforcers of this? If men collectively didn't allow it, it wouldn't be happening. But what I would refer to as weak men in positions of great power are enforcing this upon mankind, which include men and women. Because make no mistake, women aren't happy today. I mean, generally. Men are not happy. They're not in a good place. There's not peace. There's fucking chaos.
So you're saying that this situation arose because weak men allowed it to happen, and essentially that's through instant gratification of materialism, realistically. So weak men have allowed their materialism to allow this, say, just in the instance of the Gillette conversation, they've put profit over morals in this situation.
Yes.
Is that correct? Right.
And are continuing to, because you said they did, but it's continuing right to this second. Now, them talking about, well, what if we could, I mean, I guess what they're saying is, well, what if we could infiltrate the advertising? If you think that's going to solve the problems or move the needle, I think you're delusional.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Yeah, 100%. Can agree.
Yeah. If that doesn't prove that the propaganda machine is always going to push the females, I don't know what else proves. You're going to ostracize the people buying your shit.
Look at what happened with Budweiser.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's the same type of thing. Men were not into that message at all.
Yeah.
Right? That was a very social justice style message with Mulvaney. You know what I mean?
That was a big L.
And it was a huge L, right?
Huge L.
But who was coming out supporting it and calling you a bigot and evil?
Yeah.
Bunch of women.
Yeah.
I can't believe you, Myron. How could you?
Yeah.
How you're terrible about. You know what I mean? And it's like, what did you do?
Yeah. It's wild, and it's like the fact that advertisers are willing to take the risk and alienate the people that buy their shit to go ahead and appease females. It proves that we live in a gynocentric society, and the advertisers know this, and that's what you look at the Super Bowl commercials. Literally, we were just in Vegas. You look at the Super Bowl commercials; they were all targeted towards females.
I mean, Patrick mentioned with companies ESG scores, so I get it is a losing battle for money, but at the same time, to keep relevant and stay in these circles, you got to play the game on their level.
Wow.
Yeah, it's just crazy to me.
The epiphanies are nuts. I mean, I feel like an idiot now. I clearly have no idea what I'm talking about. Fresh makes me feel stupid every time he opens his mouth.
Yeah, but I think what he was saying there is that to some degree we need to toe the line for financial gain, but that's really opposed to the overall arching message is that we need to be strong.
Right.
But he's allowing some of it there because he's saying, well, we have to toe the line for the financial gain. And that's what I understood from what he was saying.
So I'm sort of taking that as And I'm not even disagreeing with all of it. I'm just shocked that this is like the epiphany high IQ conversation, right? This is what so many people are saying. What a high IQ conversation.
Yeah, I saw that on Twitter.
You were blessed if you saw this, right? Like, what the fuck? Yeah, anyways. Overpriced, chemical-filled plastic razors manufactured in a third world country by slave labor, but the advertisement was the problem. This is cognitive dissonance in the modern society. Yeah, I mean, look, digging back into the roots, looking up, meaning the ladder, right, how things are actually working, there is a reflection in society of the values being promoted, and the values being promoted are a reflection of society. Which came first, the chicken or the egg, I can't quite tell you, but weak males have infiltrated it. The weaker men get, the stronger, quote unquote, women get, and we end up with fucking unis.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really it. And I got a lot more to say, but let's move on.
Let's keep going.
Yeah, I mean, like, what? Like in my head, like, what? Who was at the Bud Light meeting? Like, you know what, man? That's a good idea. Let's go ahead and shit on the guys that drink this shit, right? Which are, let's be honest, it's gonna be guys like you, Andrew.
Well, it was
right?
a female.
Like,
it was. Well, that's what I used to
Bud
like
Light.
it.
Yeah,
I used to like
Bud
Bud Light.
right?
Yeah.
You know, like guys that drink Bud Light typically are American guys between 18 all the way up into the 50s that are like America, like all that stuff, like. And you're gonna go ahead and just say, "Let me put this fucking dude in here." Like,
Yeah, but who came up with it? A woman.
It was a woman. It was.
It was a woman.
It was.
Right, because a woman came up with it, supposedly. Bro, I'm telling you, this is weak male shit, continuing to blame women. And I've gotten it from both sides, right? Women are like, you're a misogynist. These red pillars are like, you're a beta, simp, whatever. I don't give a fuck. It doesn't matter what either say. I'm just looking at truth. And you want to keep continuing to put the shit on women's shoulders, knowing what a disaster that has been, right? We should repeal back women voting. And yet, oh, that woman came up with it. Like, who cares? Who cares? What relevance does that have?
Yeah, I'm a bit slow today. So just to break this down, then you are saying that in a male-dominated business that is primarily focused on supplying, say, just beer to men, it was still men that put this woman in power, allowing her to pander to men and women. Right, okay.
Put her in, enforced, etc.
Yeah. So I've had like fucking 3.5 hours sleep, man. Things are taking me a wee bit longer today.
You good. Look, I'm just putting it off. I definitely want to let you speak, but you can sit back too. I mean, do your thing.
No, I'm happy. This is probably a good thing that I'm a bit slower today because I'm going to really break everything down into fucking baby steps.
Yeah, and look, without getting too deep into this, I will tell you, I've done things. I know this is going to sound psychopath, but just truthfully, I've done things to make it more difficult for me to stream. And I know, somebody, well, what were you doing? Were you doing that? Were you smoking crack? Like, no, but I'm just saying that I've made it difficult because I look at it. When things are more difficult and you can still accomplish the mission and you're going to keep sharpening the sword, swords being your mind, as I would say essentially, right? Your heart, who you are, right? Your core, we talk about frame, all of this plays in together. The more that you do that and under duress, so to speak, I think that it can build you that much more. So I actually take into the challenge. And I do plan on, I'm not going to go too deep into this, but getting on some more things, kind of ramping up a bit as we go through. I'd like to get a full fucking day of streaming on other people's shit, jumping in chats. Not chats, but on panels, whatever, on camera, doing the thing. Maybe I'm not saying I'm going to do this, but maybe 24 hours straight is part of what's necessary for the journey of growth.
So you're searching for an uphill battle. You're looking for resistance.
Well, it's already going to be resistance. I guess what I'm looking at is time versus resistance, right? The more resistance you have over a shorter time can break you down more. And it can also then, when you recover, build more, right? Think lifting weights. Mm-hmm. For instance, sometimes it's good to overload, maybe not literally speaking overload, but in terms of push yourself harder than you have in a week or a month, knowing that you're going to be sore tomorrow. You're going to go sit down to shit and you're going to wobble and almost fall in, right? Your legs buckle. Oh shit. Sometimes that's necessary.
That's exactly how I feel today, man. I can't believe I went to the gym. I feel fucked.
Good. I did some squats, but yeah, I'm feeling you.
Yeah, I did hip thrusts, man. I feel a bit gay.
Hip thrusts. Oh God. All right.
It's on my plan. Don't hit.
All right. On to some other gayness.
She came up with the entire marketing strategy. And, there's no escaping that that's true, that it's all gynocentric based.
Yep.
Right. But
I think Gillette's commercial was run by a female.
Yeah.
too.
But look, I mean, one thing that was kind of nice was the Christian base of the nation. They boycotted Budweiser. They boycotted them.
All of them.
And it worked.
Yeah.
And they were like, wait a second, we have some power here that we forgot we had.
Yeah.
And that was nice to see.
Yeah.
And it's like, that kind of pushback, I'd like to see more of it.
Yeah. And there's been a bunch of, I just wish.
So I don't know exactly what he was saying when he said pushback, what he was referring to precisely. I'm going to switch this because I want to look at you. So I think what he's saying is pushback against the women doing this. And I think that's fucking dumb. I think generally women need be led. It's not about telling them, oh, you shouldn't do this. They're going to tell you to fuck off and they're going to go and do what their emotions tell them to do, essentially. I'm not saying there's no logic in there, but overall. But leading, that's necessarily guiding.
Yeah, so again, just to break this down, you're saying the resistance was targeted at the wrong person. It was targeted at women, and it should be targeted at the men that allowed it to happen.
Right.
Well,
in a nutshell, yeah. Uncle Guns, Bud Light males. I'm not buying that brand. Men, what are you drinking beer in the first place? GMO and pesticide-filled ingredients made by lefty unions, poisoning your body and life, cognitive dissonance. Look, I do agree, and I'm not saying I'm perfect. I don't really drink beer, but I do have drinks here and there. Definitely not all the time, every night, anything like that. But yeah, you are poisoning yourself to a degree. I think it's good to be cognizant of it. It's not about shaming anyone like, oh, you're a piece of shit because you had a Bud Light. But I do agree, there are a lot of men sucked into that, males, where every night, they got to get a 6-pack. They got to get a 12-pack. They got to kill an 18-pack. I've known men like this every fucking night of the week that ends in a Y.
Yeah, I used to be that guy.
Look, I've been on some paths that were not good as well. So, again, this is not about shaming. I mean, from my perspective, it's about information, knowledge, awareness, self-awareness, most importantly.
Mm-hmm.
Wish, because the problem is, I know, I said this earlier, but it's like, the libs, man, they're just so much louder than the conservative people. But the conservatives, it's a silent majority, though. Like, if you're on X, right, and you look at, someone posts some stupid woke bullshit, the comments are like, you're a fucking idiot, stupid, blah, 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 etc. But it's like, where are these people in real life? In real life, they're not the ones demonstrating and doing, they're doing peaceful protests. But what gets on the news? The fucking liberals going crazy in Minneapolis, right? It's just that, they just have more cam time. They control the media, right? They're in the media more. It's just, yeah.
They have another advantage.
So what do you think about that, Leroy?
So I would say the left is generally louder because they're more feminized and moaning is the only way forward. Whereas I would say conservatives are more quiet because they are in their own frame. That's what I would take from this whole
Right. I don't disagree with that. I mean, more so than not, sure. Right. If we're to make a binary out of it, sure, that's fine.
Yeah.
They've
Advantage
infiltrated.
that is often not thought about. Mentally ill people are entertaining. Mentally ill people, they're super fun to watch. And progressives all over the internet who are highly mentally ill, right? They're fun to watch and laugh at and, make fun of and this kind of thing. Conservatives come on. We haven't had a good conservative voice like Rush Limbaugh, right? Come around, that kind of once in a generation voice who's super entertaining and informative in, the whole package deal.
Yeah.
It's harder because they have to go work, right? Being highly entertaining, as you know, it's a skill all in itself.
Yeah.
And most
How would they know? Are they highly entertaining? I mean, I think the highest entertainment form from them, which is good and bad, I think more bad than good, is scolding, yelling at, pushing out thoughts. And I'm not saying it's never called for, but they also invite it, right? We want drama. I mean, it's real woman shit. How many times you need to see a woman get kicked off the show, a fucking garden tool, to be like, oh yeah, there's garden tools out there. Did you know that there's garden tools in the shed? Yeah, I fucking knew.
Yeah, I look at it more like a car crash, man. Like, it's hard to take your fucking eyes off it.
Yeah. But at the same time, is that good for young men? And we're going to speak about young men in particular to be concentrating on. Right? I need to tune in 3 times a week for 10 hours like I'm watching a fucking sports team season to watch thoughts get kicked off.
Yeah, but that again is a sign of weakness then, because you're more in it for the entertainment than anything else.
Right.
Most on our side, a lot of them don't have it because they're not emotionally unstable lunatics.
What's gonna get more views?
That's
a
right.
feminist in red hair screaming like, ah!
Yep.
Or a guy eloquently explaining the difference between men and women biologically. Well, people are gonna go ahead and look at the feminists, go, ah! You know, that's just, you're right.
I share them myself.
Yeah.
I share them. I'm not immune. I'm like, man, look at this crazy bitch. Look at this shit this chick is doing, right?
Yeah.
And my buddy will send it back and go, what the you know? And then it goes viral.
Yeah.
But it is entertaining, and mentally ill people are entertaining, and the left is filled to the brim with them. I mean, it's just overloaded.
Do you see how fucking giddy Myron is about this? He's been doing this for like 3 or 4 years, and he's still giddy, like, oh yeah, mentally retarded people. Like, look, I mean, granted, there's some humor at times in it, but, right, you can make you chuckle like, damn, that was wild. But is it more funny or more sad? More of a sign of bigger symptoms in society?
Yeah, I with my new sort of like frame of mind over the last few years, man, I find it harder and harder to watch these people because I feel a bit dismayed when I see it.
Yeah.
Instead of, do you know what I mean? I think it's kind of heartbreaking to watch it instead.
Well, see, that's an empathy or sympathy or whatever, but that's a human thing. And that doesn't make you a white knight or an emotional bitch. It's just human. I think that empathy is important, or sympathy to a degree, right? If we don't have it at all, I'm not saying to emote. I'm saying if we don't have it, then do we even really care about morals or ethics? I mean, ethics?
Yeah.
Do we actually really care if we're not empathizing with the children being poisoned on a daily basis in the US and around the world to varying degrees? Are we really empathizing with the 4-year-old on the bus watching iPad at full blast of some ratchet YouTube video, music video that's made for like adults, and the mom is on her phone, not giving a shit? He's drinking a soda and eating chips and falling all over the place. Where's the empathy for that? And that's the next generation. I'm not saying that's most kids, that same scenario. I'm just saying, look at the world. It's not just, oh, feminism. Oh, we need to get more red pill content in there. We need to show more hoes getting kicked off. That'll help. Oh, and bang 50 women, by the way, before you get married. It's necessary.
Yeah, so I think for myself, then I think if we're describing a car crash again, I'm looking at it more sort of the after effects rather than what's happening right there and then. That's more
Right.
my focal point, you know?
Right, so you're thinking, not just about the present moment, but the effect that it's going to have on people, whether it's connected to you intimately or not.
Yeah, and in turn, then I can't really find the entertainment in it then because I'm like, fuck, this is sad to see.
Yeah. Good.
They brag about that.
Oh yeah, they love it. I've seen my psychiatrist and psychologist 8 times this week. You know what I mean? They love it. They're all on something. It's crazy.
Remember when, like, maybe I'm showing my age with this one, like, but remember, like, it used to be like negative to go see a shrink.
Yeah.
Do they even call them shrinks anymore? Like it used to be like, wait, you went to go see a psychiatrist? You went to go see a therapist? What the fuck is wrong with you, pussy? Like
well, now they're all bragging about their degrees. I have a degree in sociology. They all, by the way, have a degree in sociology.
Yeah.
Everyone, I haven't met one yet that doesn't have a degree in sociology.
Yeah.
And they love it. They think it's great because they think it's a form of manipulation. They think that they're going to school to learn how to manipulate people and their emotions and their machinations better. That's why they do it. That's why that's appealing to women to move towards sociological fields. That's why you see them move towards it, because it's a subtle form of manipulation.
Sure, Jordan Peterson's
you got pastors sending
title.
people that are married to psychiatrists. That's crazy.
That is wild. No, I mean, it's really an interesting time to be alive, isn't it?
Do you know what Fresh just said about pastors? I thought I caught that, but I wanted to. Did he say pastors seeing people as if they're psychologists?
No, I think he was saying the pastors are now referring them to psychologists rather than dealing with it in house. That's what I
got
he was saying.
Yeah. Okay. I wasn't sure if I heard that right. I guess not. I don't think that's a good thing. Again, I don't think that's the problem. I think that's the effect. I know that's the effect of the deeper core rooted issues.
Yeah, I'll agree. Yeah, 100%.
Let's see.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Because it's like we're old enough to remember.
I shouldn't exist right now. I should be in a factory. You know what I mean? It's like the fact that there's so many more coming.
Yeah.
Right? They're just tired of it, dude.
It used to be like shameful to say I'm gonna go see my psychiatrist or I'm gonna go see a therapist or something. Like it used to be like, what the fuck is wrong with you, dude? Like, man up, bitch.
Yeah.
Like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
But now it's like a flex. Like, yeah, I'm on it. What's that fucking drug that people used to relax? I'm on Xanax. Like,
Well, my
bro,
dad
we used to
lost
make
the world,
fun of
bro.
people. If you had to, like, I remember we used to make fun of kids. Wait, you take Ritalin? Fuck wrong with you? Like, we used to laugh at people for that shit. Oh, you need Adderall to focus? You're an idiot. Like, we used to roast people for that shit. Now it's like, oh, just pop it like candy. Xanax. Like, there's a whole, and it's interesting because it's like, it's infiltrated the music. If you look at like hip hop, right, in the 90s, right? Verbal, lyrical, things made sense. They're telling you a fucking story. You're listening to like, I don't even listen to Slick Rick, but I can acknowledge the fact that he was like a good rapper, right? He's like telling you a fucking story and shit. Like, Kool Moe Dee, all these guys, right? Up until Jay-Z, etc. Then we get into the late 2000s, 2010s, etc. Then you start getting people mumble rapping, not making
I'm
sense.
on lean.
I'm on drugs, etc. And you're like, what the fuck is going on?
So I want to touch on this point real quick. There is plenty, and I mean plenty, there's an abundance of great music out there, rap music out there. On the radio, not so fucking much. But there is more than enough on Spotify. I mean, there really fucking is. And I'm sure there's more I don't know about. But with that said, is there a reflection of society from music and vice versa? Absolutely. I mean, there's a reflection in everything. We could name advertising, Netflix, TV shows, movies, etc. So I really see this as a moot point. It's just distracting. But I get what he's saying. I don't disagree on the surface.
100%. This is one of the ones where I completely agree with him. Over time, becoming weak is now a badge of honor, because then people are going to run to your side and defend you instead of you defending yourself.
Here's the thing, though. We talk about frame and game, right? That's kind of what this is about. So what do you think it does to male's frame when he's going against his natural imperatives to fit into society in these ways that we're hearing, right? It's become cool and trendy to do this shit. What do you think it really does to him inside?
It feminizes over time, man.
Well, yeah, so weakens, feminizes, whatever, but it destroys him in a sense, right? That would be the ultimate weakening.
Yeah, I would say being feminized is the ultimate weakening, bro, because then you're going away from your natural state.
Exactly. Right. That's what I'm saying. The further we remove from it, the more of this bullshit we're going to get.
Mm-hmm. Damn straight, man.
On here, and it, as the drug use like became more apparent in like the music, right, and people are just open about it. Now you got guys like flexing, like, yeah, I'm on some Xanax right now. Like the regular guys flexing that shit. I'm like, what the fuck? I remember growing up as a kid, like if you even said that you smoke weed, like we'd kind of be like, huh, what look at you, you fiend, you're a loser. But I don't know, man. It's like cool to be a druggie nowadays. It's crazy to me.
Complete opposite.
Well, my dad, like I said, product of the 40s. You know, he said you were going to say, "What are you, a nut?"
Yeah,
Right? What are you, a nut? What are you going to strike for? Are you crazy? Right? Yeah. That's how they saw it.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. It's cool now to say I have, and let's be honest, like nowadays, right? Like the whole psychology board is like run by women. Like they stripped Jordan Peterson of his.
How many times has he blamed women so far? And I'm not denying the facts of what he's saying. I don't know if it is or isn't, but I'll assume it is. Just to make the point that still stands, men have made that happen. Men are currently enforcing it.
So,
it just is.
To play devil's advocate here, I'm not sure that he is blaming women. I think he's pointing it out. He's just pointing out the problem. I don't think he's placed any blame as of yet.
Right. But again, I see this as
It's more of a statement to say it's a women-dominated field, but I don't think he's saying that the root cause of it is men. I don't think he's tackled the root cause in that statement anyway. Yeah.
Which, the further he goes on with this surface, I'm going to keep on saying it. You know what I mean? Just reinforcing the point that you're fucking missing. You're missing the point.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
His psychology credentials, and it's like they'll prescribe you whatever. It's like, oh, you feel like you have issues with focusing, or you feel like you're crazy. Cool, let's just give you these fucking drugs. It all, and then you know, I don't even want to get into the pharmaceutical industry, but it's like they're incentivized to tell you that you're crazy, right? So that they can make some money on it.
Well, who are pharmaceuticals going to advertise to? Who are the most prone to being advertised to? And so then you see
It's a vicious circle.
and who happens to be on all those drugs and the antipsychotics and the antidepressants and all of this. Well, same demographic who suffers from a way higher rate somehow than men do, even though men are the ones going through things which cause PTSD, and they're going through wars and they're going through all this stuff. But somehow the mental illness is still higher on that side. Kind of weird. Kind of makes you think, well, maybe they are marketing something towards a population demographic which is prone to propaganda.
Yeah. And wait, hold on. And they make money from giving these drugs
do.
out? Wait.
Gajillions, right?
What? What the fuck? Hold on. No way.
So, look, I don't, again, disagree with the surface of what they're saying. I think this is a low to medium IQ conversation. To me, I don't know who doesn't know this, although somebody could say that about what I'm saying at times, right? Who doesn't know that? Sure. But this is kind of long going on, like they're really moving away, I think, from the points, right? They just want to find alignments. And I don't like that. For who they are, their positions of power, this was more of a, you know, meeting to fluff each other than it was to actually have a real conversation.
Yeah, well, I would say it is a conversation rather than pushing back on, because I'd say they're two men who are pretty much morally opposed, man. So I would like to see way more pushback on everything, really. But I feel like they're just having a surface level discussion rather than getting into why this is happening. They're just making statements about what is rather than how we ought to fix it, which is what I thought there would have been far more of.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's a good trend, though.
It's crazy, bro. Like, and you guys see the fucking circle. We just brought her all the way around, man. Yeah. Bring it back. Social shame is important. Because I remember, you're going to go see a fucking shrink? What's wrong with you? Like,
Yeah.
like,
What are you, nut?
Yeah, you
What's wrong
fucking
with you,
crazy?
Yeah,
You know, they used to call it a shrink. Do people even use that term
Did
anymore?
I rewind? Didn't we just hear this shit? I don't know.
I'm not sure.
A shrink?
It's considered a bad word, probably.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, he been spending the whole night.
No.
Yeah, man.
I just
it's
listening
fucking
like
crazy.
on point, bro. Love it.
All right. Okay. What do we got here?
right.
We got
Legato.
Legato goes. Andrew, I need my glasses.
Humanoid Typhoon Wilson is the top G of debates. Good to see him on Fresh and Fit.
Good to see you too, man. Thank you so much
$1
for
marker
that.
for him.
Good to see him not
$100?
debating.
Thank you so much for supporting this show. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
As you know, this particular show, which people really enjoy, has not been treated very fair by some of the companies which are out there. So, showing your support is always a good.
It has not been treated fair by some of the companies out there. You mean free market? You mean the degenerate society that we have? I just, this is pandering.
Yeah,
This is dick sucking.
I wouldn't say dick sucking, but yeah, this is a bit of pandering, man. I think there's too much agreement, man, for fucking three men that are extremely disagreeable, and again, pretty much morally opposed as well.
I'd say they are having a circle jerk of submission.
It's a good thing. By the way, they have a badass studio here. They gave me the
Appreciate that,
tour
man.
when I came in.
Thanks,
It's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Thank you, brother.
Appreciate that, man. What do we
Sweet.
got here?
Cool.
Yeah. Okay.
Reloading.
The normal chat, they're going crazy. I can see. They're saying,
W. Andrew.
They're saying, please talk about a topic. Okay. Okay, Andrew. I think the argument for FNF position is that women are better at hiding their intents. Therefore, to experience up to 50 women is a way to see past their intent. Yeah, I think Andrew understands, sees our perspective on that.
Yeah. So again, from the secular perspective, and
Again, I just want to reinforce just as much as they're reinforcing. You are saying that in theory, every woman before she gets married, well, essentially, if every man is doing it, is going to also have 50 bodies. And that we're going to increase abortions across the U.S.
Yeah, and the damage to all the women. So the quality of women is just going to go lower and lower.
We're going to teach weak men how to fuck, right? Because that's the way to understanding women. What kind of retarded logic is this? And granted, I'm sure, look, there's people who are going to see this or unsubscribed or whatever, because I'm not sucking Andrew's dick. I'm calling it the way I see it. And that's okay. That's all right. No problem. I'm sure, stats-wise, I would be much better off supporting Andrew. I'm sure of that. But I'm not going to support the wrong thing. And I'm pointing out the ways that I see this as the wrong thing.
Yeah, good, man. Draw your line in the sand, bro, and let's fucking go.
And we could probably argue about this for an hour, but from the secular perspective, I understand why this push exists, right? I just see some flaws with the entailments of the push. So we kind of have some grounding disagreements, but I'm not saying that it's not a strategy which is viable that could work, but it depends on the ends. And I think me and Myron only really have this fundamental disagreement on what we want the end to be.
I think we agree that we both...
Could we not sum up the ends as the binary good or bad for society, for people, humanity, men, women, children? Could we not look at it like that?
Yeah, it's bound to be, well, it will be in that negative if we were to all follow Myron's worldview.
Right. And that's just like, well, yeah, kind of. Well, there's some flaws. No, it's fucking bullshit. That's more than there's some flaws.
Yeah. I think, I feel like that's kind of letting it slide a bit. I really wish they'd gone fucking to war on this point, because I think both of them really could have gone to war, and I don't understand why they're just slipping over it. Well, I kind of do.
Why. There's no war in them for each other. There's only alignment. There's only the selfish tendencies of what they will call virtue, and, well, we're going to help our platform, and therefore we're going to help more men.
Yeah, I'll agree on that. Yeah.
Well, I think both should have a family. I think ultimately guys should have a family. I agree with you on that. Yeah. Like, you shouldn't be running around banging girls forever. Like, you know what I mean? You should definitely have a family at some point.
I think we're just discussing secular and religion-based.
Yeah. I mean, if you're a religious guy, then don't take my advice. Like, you probably shouldn't. Like,
without naming the religion, all right? I know we've talked about religion in terms of Andrew is promoting, I think, Eastern Orthodoxy, Christianity, whatever. But Myron's saying, in a sense, right, if we're to replace words with their real intent, I think that if you have virtues and morals, right, if you subscribe to a religion that's entailment of, that's the core of, then don't listen to us. If that didn't tell you everything you need to fucking know, I don't know what else. Yeah, you're a lost cause.
That's exactly what I took from that. I was like, that's quite a weird thing to say then, brother. Yeah.
Freudian slip? No, he doesn't even know. He's not smart enough for that.
Like, you'll get in trouble with your religion.
I called in and asked for your advice when he's a Christian. I was like, bro, what are you doing? But to your point, though, the end does not always justify the means.
Yeah.
So,
well, might makes, but it doesn't make right.
There you go.
But it makes. It sure makes.
Everybody's here? Yep. All right, cool. Martin's talking about something like the Logan Paul situation, also about the religious reproduction. The religious are producing a lot of secular children. That's actually a good point.
Yeah,
like, like Logan Paul getting with that chick. That's a good example.
And I'll respond to it. It's true that you can, if you have 5 children, have 2 of them end up being secular. You still have 3 that aren't. Children usually follow their parents' political positions and their religion. Almost always. And sometimes...
I would say that it's a bit of a mixed bag there. There definitely is a propensity for children to fall into the parents' footsteps, but there's also a propensity for the exact opposite, or at least in surface level ways, right? I mean, you are who you are, I believe, right? We can improve, we can make changes with our actions, but at the end of the day, I mean, sure, most children probably do follow, even if they intend not to. But I've definitely seen many situations where look, they're the exact opposite of their parents, and purposely so.
Yeah, but I would say that's a rebellion phase that's just been allowed to get out of hand, and that's just down to weak parenting.
Well, yeah, okay, in the child phase you're talking, but I'm talking about more like, look, if your parents are crackheads, just to put it like that, and you're somebody that is going to defy the odds and not be a crackhead, I do see situations like that. Children who were born in very bad parental situations, or they never met their parents, or their parents died or abandoned them. And I'm not saying they're all good or bad, the parents, but I'm just saying I do see at times children distinctly realize that their parents' path is what led to the situation of their upbringing, and they don't want that for their children. And essentially, they move an opposite way.
Yeah, I agree.
Now, maybe rare, but
yeah.
Sometimes they fall off the path, but what's really interesting, if they have that religious foundation to begin with, they end up coming right back around to it. A good example of this, if you were to go back to religion, if you just threw your hands up one day and were like, I'm done, would you go back to Islam?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Then were you raised with that?
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah.
And doesn't that still to this day kind of guide your intuitions and your morals? You know what I mean?
Of course, it's always the framework and things that I operate in, you know.
I mean, the story of the prodigal son.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the idea here.
And that's most of our story, right?
Yeah.
That's most of us seem to have that story.
Yeah.
Okay. What else do we got
Just
here?
a bonfire.
Goes, evening, gents. Vasectomies are a giant conspiracy to weaken men. The birth control aspect is just debate. Warn your sons. Don't believe the shills and massive PR campaign with false stats.
Awesome. Yeah.
I got a funny anecdote on this. So a while back, this is some years ago, I had someone I knew. He had just gotten a vasectomy, and he was telling me about it. He's like, look, yeah, I just got this. You should get one. It's great. I got this great doctor. You should go see him. And in my mind, I was like, in a way, it sounds like a good idea. In another way, it sounds like a bad idea. So anyways, like a week or two later, other people, not him, but people who knew both of us mutual, were telling me like, oh, like his Johnson is pussing and he got to go back and it's infected and he wishes he never got it and it was terrible. Now look, this is a crazy anecdote, but I just thought that was kind of funny.
Yeah, but I would say this is also like given into a weakness, because if you're getting a vasectomy, it's just because you're worried about the outcomes of weak actions. So just don't take the fucking weak actions and you'll be fine.
Right. And you're now putting yourself at more risk, right? Because in theory, now you're going to be less protected in general and therefore more apt to catch something, that's not a kid.
Yeah, there's a lot of consequences to it, man. I would never have someone work on my balls unless it was fucking completely necessary, man.
Right. It's a medical emergency, right? Yeah. I agree. I thought about it at the time. This is some years ago. I'm glad I did not do that.
Damn straight.
Yes.
All right, this is my part. And he goes, too, with a vasectomy, you're still shooting loads inside your own body, but it can't exit. This creates an autoimmune disease that silently poisons you for life. Reversals are not cheap. Matrix attack.
Damn.
Right. To everyone who said I have donated to FNF, though never have.
Bro, it's beating cheeks. It's beating cheeks.
Yeah.
You know what?
Here it is to support the blood sport debater. Great content to make while you visit Miami, Mr. Wilson, FNF. I was the bow tie guy from Sauce Cat.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Crucible Crew, too, if you're listening, make sure you come on over and donate heavily. These gentlemen were nice enough to invite me down. And we're going to get into some tangling a little bit later, I'm told. Looking
Right now,
forward
actually.
to it.
Yeah.
So let's do a pause here real quick. By the way, at the end when he said tangling, I think he's referring to with the women in particular.
Yeah. I think that's what they invited him on for, man. They didn't invite him on to be challenged themselves. They invited him on to challenge the women. It's pretty low tier, if you ask me, man.
Yeah, I
it would have
agree.
been far more interesting if they had gone toe to toe rather than Andrew just schooling some stupid bitches that he can obviously just walk over very easily because he's talented, you know?
So think about, and a lot of times when I give this example, it kind of loses people. I'm sure you've heard it enough times now. But think about if it was children they were bringing on to beat up. We'd be like, yo, that's crazy. Well, if you consider that women halfway between men and children in terms of power dynamic hierarchy, right? It's halfway as pathetic. Halfway is bringing children on to berate them in the same manner. Like, oh, you're a fucking bit, just insulting them, whatever. Oh, you're fucking dumb, this type of shit. And granted, I'm not saying that some of the women aren't those things. I'm not saying that. I just don't think that the shaming tactic from men, who they don't respect, by the way, I don't see most of the women respecting them. If they're appearing to respect them, it's more for appearance, to not get kicked off the show and still be able to promote whatever it is they're doing, OF or dating, right? Send me a fucking instant message, whatever it is, DM. Not good. It's promoting a lot of bad things. Now, is there some good in it? I've admitted this. I'm not saying there isn't. I think there's probably some good in most things. The question is it more bad than good or good than bad? That's the ultimate question to me.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to win people over by attacking them. That's never the way. We need to lead them towards the light, essentially.
So looking at what Beaten Cheeks says, look, if you're listening, Beaten Cheeks, I don't know, but I'm going to give you my neutral perspective on this. To everyone who said I've donated to FNF, though I never have, I don't know who everyone is, but I would say, why do you give a fuck so much? Like, I mean, that's the first line of your super chat. Like, again, I don't think you should be very concerned about what other people think. But anyways, he's there to support Andrew Wilson, apparently, the Bloodsport debater. Great content to make while you visit Miami, Mr. Wilson. FNF, I was the bow tie guy from Saucecast. Look, to me, Beaten Cheeks, this sounds like a cry for attention. I'm just being real with you, just being honest. I don't think this was necessary. It seems to me that you are putting them on a pedestal to some degree, maybe more Andrew, I don't know.
Yeah, I'll agree on that. That's what I would take from it, yeah. Not so much the attention thing, but there's definitely a pedestalization going on there.
Yeah.
Yep, we got you.
Let's see, what do we got here? Okay, ask him about the book his wife Rachel wrote about occult feminism, and see if he will return with her for another podcast. Yes, we did. He did mention that earlier. These chats came in way earlier, but yes, and yeah, I definitely gonna take a look at it. And then we got here Sly Burner, $20. Appreciate that, bro. And then Uncle Luke says, there's only one Christian faith that I know takes marriage seriously and actually hold women accountable and shame them in front of the congregation. That's Jehovah's Witnesses. Disfellowship people.
Yeah, so that would be a great example of a consequence, right? A community consequence. Hey,
agreed.
You're messing up, and so we're actually going to publicly shame you for that.
Shame is a very powerful tool.
It is.
It's worked in all cultures and all religions. Don't do it. I've seen that once you announce to the world that you're married without doing a ceremony, the woman can still take your money. The community idea is nice, but it's not above the law.
Well, that's true. It's not.
Look, this is a good point that's brought up. I think what I'm gathering from it wasn't written the best, but basically that even if you get married without a contract, you can still be put under a legal obligation by a court system. And that's totally correct. I can't remember the term for it. It really doesn't matter. But here's the other thing. They're so concerned about the marriage laws, and I get it. Believe me, I get it. Are they unfair to men? Are they fucked up? Yes. And I would also say the world is unfair. I would also say with self-accountability, you have to know that. Use extra good discretion, however you want to frame that, and be extra careful, extra take your time, especially if you have a frame that is not built the way it should be in order to handle that, which can be difficult to know, right? I'm not saying anyone's perfect. I'm just saying being more patient, using your fucking brain, understanding what is. So they're not wrong, but here's my bigger point. If you end up having a kid, whether or not you're married, you're certainly going to be under a legal obligation, right? Threat of jail, threat of this, that, whatever, losing your kids, right? This is just as big of a deal. So again, these surface arguments, well, what if we change the court systems? Yes, I understand on the surface that would be helpful, but how do we change the court systems? Now, they were talking about, well, we could protest. Do you not understand that the powerful do not give a fuck about your protests and picketing? They don't give a fuck, especially if you don't have tits.
Yeah, so this just comes back straight to, once again, it's the men that need to do something that are within these organizations. But back to Andrew's point then, I think what he was saying is like a multi-generational infiltration that we need to do to try and push this forward.
Yeah, and I'm not denying that. I'm not that I think that's fairly reasonable. But my bigger problem with it is what are you doing about it when you're co-signing Fresh and Fit generally? He's
Yeah.
generally co-signing for them.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
And they are the feminists, but opposite, but they're just as bad as the feminists in many fucking ways.
Yeah,
And
that's actually a great point. Yeah, because Andrew has pointed out that there's very little difference between the feminist outlook and the red pill or fresh and fit outlook.
look, and I'll tell you what, he picked apart a bit. I didn't see the whole thing, but I saw a good amount of it. The Troy Francis, he picked him apart quite a bit. And Troy Francis and Fresh and Fit are very similarly aligned. And I will say that, in my opinion, Troy was pretty, from what I saw, he was pretty humble about it.
Yeah.
He wasn't a complete bitch like they would be. And maybe part of Andrew knew that. He also knew he wasn't going to get much from Troy Francis. Andrew is bigger than him clout-wise. So I think he felt it more prudent to go after him, attack him, if you will, or attack his ideas, rather. And I think it was Andrew showed his skills. He sharpened. It was good. Now he comes to Fresh and Fit, big brother daddy, and you're submitting to them.
Yeah, it would have been nice to see that same level of pushback that he gave with Troy.
Where the fuck is that energy?
Yeah, because that was good. That was a full, like, exposing, like, trousers down, fucking over the knee and spanked. Like, he got fucking wrecked, man.
It was
But
good.
he did handle it very well. And when he didn't know, he just held his hands up. And I think there was a lot of contemplation from him.
Yeah.
Because his worldview was being fucking cracked right in front of him.
Yeah, absolutely.
All we really wanted to see here.
Yeah. You hit it.
But the social shame is above the law. And so this is the key. The key is that you're trying to modify the behavior, not necessarily create some new legalese. We want to eliminate the legalese that's causing men the problem to begin with.
Yeah.
We're trying to build the community which will push the social behavior which is desired in women and men. That's
enough.
the point.
Fair enough.
See, this is my problem. The women is sort of the front line of that. And then he says, well, and the men too. No, you got it fucking backwards, Andrew. It's fucking completely backwards. If you want to look at just surface problems, you want to play chess in a game of checkers, go for it. But don't act as if you're the fucking messiah, right? I'm gonna really show these hoes. We're gonna help men. And I don't know that Andrew said that, but that's at least implied, I think, in his content.
So what I'm hearing there is he thinks, well, I think there's two ways of looking at this. He's either saying that, well, let me think about this. So I think by shaming, women would only be shamed if men had the right idea and the right frame. That's how I would take this in. So the shaming would only happen when there are men in the right frame. And currently we don't have that shame because the men aren't in the right frame. So I think maybe you are a wee bit more aligned on this than not aligned.
So here's the thing. I also think of shaming as a product. That's not the actual action. The action is men holding women accountable in this facet. Hear me out. Is that they're cutting off attention, and I mean that very fucking sincerely, to the women who attention should be cut off to. Whether it's a interpersonal relationship or societally, but instead we give gobs of attention to women who certainly are not virtuous, right? Oh, she showed her titties, a titty flashed, like this type of shit. Oh, she said something really dumb, 10 million views, right? So I think that men leading by naturally, right, in their frame of being just man, he is going to turn off attention to those women. And in a sense, that's much more effective than shame.
Yeah. But then I think that maybe what he's saying is shame is a consequence of men being in the right frame.
I agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Troy, my best friend, sells a course on lady boy problems. Yeah. Look, I'm not going there. One thing I don't know enough. I'm kind of assuming. No, I don't want to assume. We'll move on.
Lily goes, Christians have a hard time defining promiscuous body count number. However, the Bible tells us with the woman at the well. Okay. What else we got? Anything else?
He made the chick get him a drink of water too, by the way. I just wanted to point that out.
Oh, okay.
Jesus was thirsty and he said, go get me a drink of water, and she did.
Okay, I wasn't aware. WFNF recently went from 169 kilos to 103 kilos, threw 40 kilos off myself, then got gastric sleeve surgery, still going strong. Also started lifting weights at home. Love from Denmark. Shout out to you, bro.
Shout out to you, bro.
Drunk.
Look, I'm not picking on this dude, but why the fuck are you putting us on here? The person that should care most about that is you. If you think that Myron and Walter and anyone in the audience gives a fuck about the weight that you lost, you are gone. They don't. I get it. You want somebody to reflect back to you, man, you're doing a good job. You want to hear them say it on stream. I get it. But the problem is you're outside of your frame. You're leaning on theirs too much. This should be a you thing. Now, here's the next point, is that when it comes to weight, this is, it's very... Right, it's a number, okay, but there's a lot of different compository, right? Like you can be 100 pounds and super unhealthy, like as a woman even, right? You eat McDonald's all day, sugar, et cetera, smoking cigarettes, and oh, I'm only 100 pounds. Oh, she's in good shape. That doesn't make you healthy. I think that it feels good as a man to be in good shape, right? I can see my abs, I can see my dick. That would be a major improvement for most men. Right, I'm actually getting it in the toilet bowl without sitting down. Yeah, that's great. And I'm not knocking this guy for his journey, but I am just pointing out that I think you're a little bit lost in the frame, fella.
Yeah, because if he hadn't got that bit of validation from them, he'd have felt disheartened and maybe would have stopped his journey.
Right.
Drunky. W. Myron Slippers, I appreciate that. You know, Goku is even though I think Vegeta's superior, but we're doing it for Akira.
What? You think Vegeta's superior to Goku?
I think so, man. He's a better character. Obviously, Goku is stronger, right? Because he's the fucking main person, but I think Vegeta's cooler.
But he went soft.
Vegeta?
Yeah, he went soft. He married.
So did you.
And, he got
Bulma
soft.
304. Yeah, Bulma 304.
Totally.
That was his only fuck up. That was the only fuck up, man.
Not Kakarot though, right? Kakarot.
Chi had 304 too, though.
But he's never home.
She was only ever with him.
He's never home.
Hang on, she was.
I mean, they grew up together. Yeah, Goku was never home. He was always dead, man. That nigga was a terrible dad.
Yeah.
Oh, you got a kid? God. Base Hawaiian. W for FNF for having Base Wilson on. Shout out to you.
And then Godzilla goes, "Hi guys, thanks for the show, Andrew sent me." Shout out to you, bro.
Shout out to you, bro.
And then Legato says,
no,
Andrew,
we did one already.
We did that one. Caught up, right? Charging. Last one. 20. Was that this last one?
No, that's.
Okay.
Rumble.
And then
cool.
20 verse 1 was fire idea. Would be good to put guests through it, especially the over the top ones like Organic and Zerka. Only a matter of time till Pocket. Oh God. Okay, I don't.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we got it.
All right. I disagree. Values is something you give yourself. It's a simple economic values dependent on the market, which is our case is women. When men have been using women as a showcase of value all throughout history.
What?
If market is the only determination of what value is from the human experience, then you're going to have to give hoes value, because obviously there's a market for them.
Yeah, he's trying to. Okay, that was from what we were saying from before. Red Pill saying goes only 3.
So, what up, Don Juan? How you doing, man? And let's answer this real quick. Lost weight, nobody cares. Same males who say, I work hard, pay my bills, etc. No, you don't get an attaboy for stuff you're supposed to be doing anyways. Right? Raise the fucking bar.
Yeah, 110%.
Myron is lame, Fresh is dumb. Someone had to say it. Yes, sir. Look, it is what it is. And they could change. I'm not saying they will or won't. I'm not speculating. I'm just saying what we're seeing is weak male bullshit. I've pointed out all the different facets I'm seeing. I'm not saying they are the worst, but I am saying that to me, this is a poor use of their power, their influence, their leadership. And that's what they talk about so much. So I have a problem with it. Now, with that said, and I think everyone should, right, if we're looking at this neutrally, the problem is ego attachment. I've invested so much time and energy and thought process into Fresh and Fit and what they're thinking. And same goes for Andrew. I mean, they're different people, but nonetheless. So I did want to ask you, what do you think about the dating marketplace in terms of what they were just raising? Right? Is there a dating marketplace? Is this something we should even be fucking talking about, really?
Yeah, I was thinking earlier about the term high value, and I think that sounds very materialistic, and generally it is tied into materialism. I think we should be talking about high quality, because in loads of things when we purchase them, we would think quality over quantity. I think then that it's more important to think about the quality, like what can they bring to the table, not financially, but in the metaphysical, not the physical, because I think we're way too focused on the physical and not the metaphysical.
Sure. And even kind of a nuance on that, not even high quality, high virtue, but just quality man, virtuous man, good man, right? This type of thing. The problem is many people don't know what the fuck any of that means. Oh, he's a millionaire. He's a good man, right? He was nice to me when I met him, so he's a good man.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean shit. How many people have you met that were nice? Women that you met at first that were nice and then ended up, stabbing you at worst or whatever. I mean, maybe not many, hopefully not many for you, but...
It sounds like a wound. Is that a wound or a scar you've got there with the stabbing?
Hey, I'm just saying. It's not funny, but it's kind of like, damn. Damn, you fucked up. Right? If I tell women that, they're like, what did you do? You must have done something pretty
Always
bad.
in the wrong.
Yeah. Well, they're not wrong. Here's the thing. What I did was, right, for my own accountability, and I've talked about this, what I did was I was in a relatively poor frame, relatively weak man, and I allowed it to get to that point. I mean, really. So I do take accountability for it. I don't say that that incident was my fault, like, oh, it's my fault that she did that. It's my fault I was in that situation because I knew better.
Yeah, there's a difference. There's definitely a difference.
Only 3% of virgins on their wedding day. That's true. High majority of men won't marry virgins, so them being virgins is a fairy tale, wishful happy ending scenario. Many men are involuntary virgins and claim religion as cope for being unwanted. It's 2024 and not 1950, sadly.
Let's assume for a second that that's true. Wouldn't you want them to have some type of support network to cope too?
All right. If the argument is that hoes do not add value and that value develops independently, then it stands to reason that adding hoes into a high-value man's life inherently threatens that man's value through unwanted pregnancy, false essay accusations, fuckery, etc.
That's a really good point.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. You need to. That's precisely why.
That's what I was saying. You need to bang 50 women so you can do exactly what you just said not to do. But if I do it for marriage, it's different.
Yeah. This is just a weird situation, man. I don't understand why there's very little pushback at all. Just everyone's a nodding dog here, just being like, yeah, bro, you're right. Yeah, bro, you're right. But like, they fundamentally disagree. Their whole worldviews are so different, man. I really wish they'd brought them on. Well, hopefully maybe they'll come on the Crucible. Oh, no, I doubt even that. I doubt they'll go on the Crucible, to be quite honest.
You think that Andrew would be a completely different person because they come on his platform if their relationship stays the same? I don't think it would be any different at that point. And I don't think he would do it.
I don't think Fresh and Fit would go on it because they have that fear that Andrew would turn the heat up. I think that's more likely than vice versa, man.
Yeah, could be. I mean, I'm not denying that. Dating will happen no matter what. RP has the game confused. They're not high value. They're great value. Walmart brand. Yeah, I like that. That's about right. Right? You're going to get something for nothing. Right? I'm a great value.
Yeah, I like that.
Identify the women that can do that to you.
Yeah, however, if you're talking about value in and of itself, if that is adding to the value by you doing that, then you have to assign value to the hoe.
Wait, no. Did you say it as value?
No. So his argument is to say, wait a second, if it's true that it's going to teach you all of these things, then the argument that a hoe does not add value doesn't even make sense, right? They would have to add value because it's teaching you how to identify women from being able to do this thing to you, the high value man, right?
My stance is you're a high value guy regardless of your notch count. Like, you can be a high value guy and be a virgin, is what I'm saying. But for you to be able to navigate the dating marketplace appropriately, right? You need to have experience with women. Now, if we're going to attribute that as value as well, I guess we can. But I would say it's not value that you can. It's not value that's assigned to the value that man independently made. If that makes sense.
You're right. So
he really shifted the goalpost or whatever. Yeah. He wasn't answering Andrew's question, which brings up a good point. Or the person that chatted in, whatever, same thing. So if said person or object or whatever adds value to man, then therefore that has value to it. Now, Myron is now saying, well, your value is not determined on, you could be a very high value man and be a virgin. Meanwhile, they have ostracized being virgin, or they have called people out like, oh, you're a fucking virgin and you fucking simps and betas and, going on and on. Yet now, right now, I can change everything because Andrew. So none of them standing on their words, or at least minus each other. They're just negotiating for, clout. That's really what's going on.
That's what I'm seeing at the moment, bro. Again, real shame. What's the title of this video? Not this one that we're in. No, the one we're watching.
Well, it's should men get a 50 lay count debate with the Crucible?
Debate with the Crucible. Well, that's a fucking miss-sell then, bro, because that never fucking happened.
Right.
So that's what drew me to it. That's what I wanted to fucking see get hashed out, man, and that's what they've skipped over.
Look, in all fairness, I got to push back on this. Mm-hmm. Fresh and Fit's whole motto is over-promise, under-deliver.
I get what you're saying.
Does that make sense?
High value either way.
Yeah.
But if this is really teaching you all of those skills, right? Then those hoes got to have some value. They're clearly bringing some value because the more of them.
Okay, I see your perspective. You getting with them is okay. I get.
You finally got it.
I see that.
Fucking retard.
Ray says, let's be honest. Most of these girls are. Whores that they are not going to back. They are addicted to attention on TikTok and Instagram. This is not the ancient times. You must adapt. Minority of men will always pipe. Majority of women, red pill is reality. Here's the thing, guys. He agrees with that, and he even said it before. If we're going to continue on the secular, if we're going to stay in.
Look, he's talking to his little, peon buddies. Oh, look, guys, he agreed with that. See, we align. Stop the fucking pandering. Talk like men. Right? You don't have to rip each other's heads off, right? Do you see me or you or us? We've had a bunch of interactions, online panels. For the most part, we're not ripping people's heads off. At the same time, we've seen Andrew do that, and we've seen him just be very inquisitive, hard on his points, dig in, right, 10 toes down. This is not that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, big time. And there should have been pushback on that point, because Myron just pointed out there that we disagree on that, and then just moved straight on because he realizes that he can't argue. Well, that's what I think. He realizes that he's up against a fucking immovable force, really.
So Myron's not a good debater, I don't think, by any stretch. But also, aside from being a good debater or not a good debater, he's not standing on truth, right? He's standing on the bullshit pills that he sells. He's standing on reportedly frame, but it's actually game. I think it's rather weak game nonetheless, but...
Yeah, it's game made to look like frame. That's it.
Exactly. That's the manipulation. That's the, the sheep in wolf's clothing. I'm a fucking badass. It's like getting a Porsche and putting the GT3 kit on it. Right? I don't have the GT3, but we're going to make this fucking sheep look like a wolf right now. I've always been more of the sleeper type, you know what I mean? Right, stand on what it is to a degree.
Yeah, definitely, man.
Stay on a secular path, then that makes sense. But what he's saying is that, and correct me if I'm wrong here, is a whole wide religious adaptation that would curb this, and you predict it to be somewhere in the next 60 to 100 years. I'm assuming 3 generations.
3 generations, and something we should push towards. Yeah. If you want to see that kind of
change.
Look,
that is perfectly fine, but what the fuck did you do to push towards it? You're apparently pushing religion. They're going very much so against it. They're saying, if you're religious, why would you listen to us? We'll give you bad advice if you're... like, what am I missing? I'm not missing anything, but this is what everyone should be asking themselves.
Mm-hmm. I feel like I'm missing a lot, bro. I really don't understand. I just don't understand what's happened here, man. I think it's a fucking shambles.
Change happen in society. Everybody wants it to be a cheeseburger society. We want it right now. But religion, I mean, just to make the canons originally, it took a long time. These things take a long time, but you shouldn't be discouraged. You should make it a mission.
All right. Yeah. JLB Fitness, hey Fresh Fit. I'm working on a YouTube channel called JLB Fitness. I've been making exercise videos since last November. Do you have any recommendations on more videos I can make? I'm also
oh my God.
I'm almost out of ideas. Pierce, I love your videos. Keep it up. I'm gonna keep it 1,000 with you, bro. Fitness YouTube is dead. It is a dead niche and genre, my friend. You can
see, this is why you don't ask Myron a question. Fitness YouTube is far from dead. I'm not into fitness YouTube really, but I'm just saying, to say that it's dead, give up. Now this idiot who just sent them fucking money to get a piece of advice, and he is dumb. I mean, that was very dumb. But now he's getting the exact advice he deserves.
Yeah.
Give up, bro. It's dead. And this fucking poor frame motherfucker over there like, oh, shit. Well, I guess fuck my channel. Right? He had to make shout-outs to it. Right? This was an undercover. Like, can you boost me? This is exactly what we're seeing going on. I want a clout share, too. Here's my money.
Yeah, that's quite a shame, dude. He said he's worked on that for over a year. People he looks up to just shit on him straight away. That's fucking sad, man. Especially when they're talking about, you should have your own vision, your own purpose. This is a guy that's just told them, this is my fucking purpose. This is my vision. And they're just like, nah, bro, don't bother. What the fuck?
Yeah. But look, this goes back to exactly what we talk about. In the broad general sense and specifically, don't pedestalize other men, period.
Yep.
Right? Ideas, concepts, right? Use your brain. Right? If you like what's being promoted, what's being shown, the intellectual side, the entertainment side, I get it, right? I'm not for everyone. If Myron and Fresh are 1 out of every 100 men, I don't know if that's the case, but let's say, I might be 1 out of every 1,000 or 10,000. And I'm okay with that. I'm not willing to compromise what I'm saying, even when it loses me subs and views and whatever. I didn't ask for you in the first place. I didn't ask for no one. Right? Do you want to tell us where they can find you, Baystorical? Find me if you want. That's where. There you go.
Only vlog so much on your workouts and your macro eating. It's a dead genre, bro. If you look at all the biggest fitness influencers, they've all switched over to lifestyle and or challenges or whatever the hell it may be nowadays. So try to add another sub niche with your fitness niche, but doing straight workout videos and stuff like that, dude, that's dead. It's not 2013 anymore. Just being honest,
bro.
And there's a couple genres like this.
I mean, again, I don't really watch these, but I come across like Greg Doucette. I'm sure you've seen him or heard of him.
Yeah, I can
Sam. Yeah. No, he's what's the name? The parrot from Aladdin. Whatever. Oh, yeah. Iago. Yeah, is it Iago? Yeah.
No, I can't remember the name, but I know exactly the voice you're describing.
Yeah, whatever it is. And like Sam Sulik or whatever, right? Millions of views. Jeff Cavalier. To say that it's dead, it's not 2013. Well, look, Myron, you are doing this. I don't know about today, but definitely in the last year or so, he's putting out workout videos and things. I mean, I saw maybe it was 2 years ago. In the 2020s, not 2013, Myron. So you shouldn't have done that, and this guy shouldn't do it. And also, when you say I have a fitness channel, that can mean fucking a million things. I mean, there's so many different niches and ways to go about it. I think the advice they gave this follower, this fanboy of theirs, was not good. It just wasn't. It was a defeatist, give up. Yeah. Now, you know what? Here's the answer. I don't need to know what your concept's about, but if you really stand on it, you really believe it, keep making the fucking videos and you will figure it out. If you put in the time, the effort, the will, it will happen.
Yeah, that guy could be exceptional for all I know. And they're just like, nah, bro, don't bother.
Yeah, no. Unreal. Big brothers. That's what we need more of.
That died. Fitness and pranks.
Yeah, pranks too.
Both died in the same time. So,
Atheist here.
Pimp Rogers, atheist here. How about we exempt parents from paying a property tax to fund public schools and let parents use that money to send their kids to the private religious schools of their choice?
Yeah, so that would be school choice, which is a fantastic idea. It's broadly opposed by, you guessed it, Democrats and progressives.
Vivek actually was saying this.
Mostly because, why? Females are the teachers. right? Females are the teachers, and so yeah, it's broadly opposed. And yes, we should push back as much as possible on that.
Yeah. No, I mean, I agree. I mean, the public school system is fucked, man. It's ridiculous. In today's day, men need protection from women, kids need protection from single moms, and women need protection from themselves.
Cancer times.
No, that's not in today's day and age. That's always been the case.
Yeah, I was going to say exactly the same thing, man. Yeah.
Right. This is more victim mentality. Oh, today is tough because now we got to protect women from themselves. Yeah, and children from themselves to a higher degree, in terms.
But that's always been our role.
Always. And we're not protecting women from themselves in terms of, oh, we're going to make her CEO and boss babe, and you know, she's doing the advertising for Gillette, and all these complaints that they have. Oh, if only we, right, if we picket, right, they mentioned protesting. Yeah, if only we protest, then Big Brother, Men in Power, whatever, oh, that will change their hearts. Oh, yeah. No, that makes perfect sense. If you're playing checkers.
Real Dank Williams says, Andrew, you're awesome, but Montclair is nowhere near Sacramento. Montclair is in Southern California.
Okay. Well, I didn't remember where it was. I grew up in Joshua Tree. I was just born in Montclair.
See, he should have said, shut the fuck up, caller. Next. Right? Oh, I didn't know exactly. Shut the fuck up. Why are you pandering to their fucking fanboys? Right? Oh, I didn't study the geography that good. Look, I'm not even trying to pick on him. I'm just... Bro, where is the man that we have seen? Or apparently.
Yeah. That's actually a great point. Yeah, Andrew, if that was on his own channel, you'd just be like, bro, shut the fuck up. He'd have gone fucking ham. Yeah, this is a bit of a letdown.
Okay.
A wee bit.
Okay, caught up.
We got one more Rumble rant here.
Okay, what's the last one?
We have here, Mr. Reed says,
want to show love to Andrew Wilson and Fresh and Fit. You guys are amazing, and I hope to see Andrew on here more often. Yeah, man, you're going to see him here. He'll be back on Friday as well, guys.
And tonight with some girls.
Yes, he's going to be on with some girls. We're going to actually segue to that here in a second. We'll cut up.
Everyone's here. Locals.
Mara, what are your thoughts about Trump Media and the technology Group Corp DJT stock? I want to invest 5K to this because I think it will explode if Trump becomes president. There isn't much financial information for this
bro. Yo, you calling in super chats for stock tickers to get from Fresh and Fit. How much fucking dumber could you be? I mean, really. If you're talking about $1, why bother? If you're talking about $1 million, I'm just making binaries here. Why the fuck would you have them do it? And anywhere in between is just as dumb.
Yeah, there's actual financial experts out there that are solely focused on this, and he's going to guys that talk about women and hoes all day.
No, they're experts in everything. This is what happens when you make men, stupid males, your daddy, your father figure.
Yeah, he's put them on a pedestal as if these guys can solve all my fucking problems here.
Exactly. And
these
here's
guys
the irony.
Make me rich for this $20.
And the irony is they're not going to make you good at anything. Only you can do that. And in all fairness, right, just neutrality, there are good things that you can pick up from them. There is catalysts or maybe ways of thinking, things they've pointed out that could help you. Now, does that outweigh the bullshit? No.
Yeah, that takes away a bit of self-reliance as well, because if he invests that money, then he's essentially relying on them, and he's going to think back, next time, oh, fuck, I better get their opinion again. It's like, bro, do the fucking work yourself. Fucking work it out, Why are you going to these fucking guys as if they're so much more, they can be so much more knowledgeable than you ever. Put the fucking work in, do the fucking research, man, and you'll know for yourself. You'll have peace of mind. Don't fucking rely on these fools. Don't rely on anybody.
Just being a man. I know it's unpopular. I know I'm a dickhead, right? We're dickheads for pointing this out. Oh, you hurt my feelings. I'm going to unsubscribe. I'm going to leave a comment. You seem nefarious. I mean, look, if that's what people think, and most people, the GP, I'm not too concerned what GP think. GP is in shambles.
Mm-hmm. And if so as well, come fucking on.
Yeah.
If you think we're wrong, fucking tell me, bro. I want to hear it.
Yeah, the link is open, right? Not too many takers. Look, who came up here the other day?
Nuke.
Nuke, yeah. And we definitely weren't in high alignment on a lot. We probably could have got into some blood sports and such. I'm sure we could have. Mm-hmm. And he didn't seem too happy at some of my points, but I don't know. That's just what I took. But I'd be happy to have him on again. I don't think he's a bad dude. I don't really think anything of him. There's no bad blood. I'm not out to get him. But we want to get into blood sports. I'm down. You know, bring it the way you want to bring it.
I respect it, man. You know, he knew that he was coming on to someone who disagreed with him, and he fucking did it anyway. I spoke to him afterwards, man, and he said he's happy to do it again. So that means cool. Fucking respectable as shit, bro.
Yeah, happy to have him.
Company, so it's a gamble to invest in a stock. Do you think it's worth the gamble? This is what I'll tell you, bro. When it comes to investing in stocks or crypto or anything that might be volatile like that, invest whatever you're willing to lose. That's the best advice I can give you. I'm not going to tell you to do it or not, but just put money in where if you lose it, you wouldn't care because you don't want to be emotionally tied to it. All right? That's it. Cool. Guys, we're going to be back with Andrew Wilson and some lovely ladies.
Andrew, where can I find you, brother?
Yeah, you can find me at the One and Only Crucible on YouTube. Make sure that if you want any of the back content, you want to go to thecruciblevideo.live. That's thecruciblevideo.live. Become a member over there. If you want to see the backlog, there's going to be tons more added to it, including the great TikTok invasions that we do. Hope to see all of you there.
Boom. Perfect. Cool. So we'll catch you guys back here in, I don't know.
10:30.
You think so?
Yeah, because Chris, yeah.
Chris here?
10:30.
All right.
All right, let's go.
Yeah, I know we said we were going to start earlier this week, guys.
Next week,
I guess.
Hopefully.
Yeah. But and as far as the 21st one, guys, we'll do it again. Like I said before, we had some other. I think someone else was doing it in town at the same time, and then on top of that, also, it was right after Ultra Weekend, bro. So like all these chicks are hungover and shit, man. Like,
it's what it is.
It is what it is, man. But we're gonna definitely do another one for y'all, man, and we're gonna make it better. But we definitely got your feedback, and we're gonna make it way better, hotter girls, and it'll be more interesting. And we'll obviously
hotter girls. That's what we need. No, that will make the show better. That will help men more. If you can get hotter girls on there, right? If you can afford them or lure them or whatever it is, that's gonna solve problems. Right, because the audience wants it. And clearly what the followers want is what the leader should do.
Yeah, even that's another sign of clear pandering there, bro. Clear pandering. Because then you know these guys are just in it for a bit of fucking ogling at these fucking stupid chicks. So it's like, yeah, we'll give you more chicks to ogle at. Bro, they're supposed to be here for fucking, learning and to better themselves. But instead you're just like, no, we'll bring hotter women on so you can pay less attention to what we're saying and just stare at these stupid bitches.
So I agree, and here's what I'm thinking. Let's hop on. I'm gonna hop on. The Raging Tomato got an open panel. Glenn's over there. Got some other dudes. The dude from The Date actually that you called out. You down?
Oh fuck yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So look, if you're still here watching, we're going over there. I'm gonna restream. I don't know if you can or want to, but you should have that option. So. Yeah, we'll kill it here, and I'll be hopping on in probably 2 minutes.
Sweet, man. I'll see you there shortly. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in, and Based, I'll see you very shortly.
All right, here we go.